Welcome to Capture the Reps podcast, the podcast for fitness creatives by fitness creatives. Each episode, we will dive into techniques, strategies, and behind-the-scenes stories to help fast-track your career. Whether you're behind the camera or in front of it, this is the space to grow, create, and connect. Hit it, Sam. But yeah, dude, it's been a while since we've actually haven't really talked either, because I've been hiatus from the gym. So
yeah, that's true.
I'm curious to hear what's going on in your life, what's happening, all that fun stuff. Now that you're doing some couples things,
we're doing
as well as real estate,
doing a couple things.
So like, where did that come about? The idea to pursue couples, or to make that, something that you throw out there and advertise and, hey, I do this.
I mean, I've always liked doing couples related stuff. But had been asked more and more around the gym and like friends that we know to shoot some of their photos, whether that's like engagement related stuff. And I mean, I've shot weddings in the past. I'll being completely honest, I've just shot like really low budget, like backyard weddings. So it's not been anything that I would particularly like put out into a portfolio. It's something I have a little experience with, but I'm also, it's funny. I didn't end up talking about it on my most recent, I started posting every week on my couples page.
Good plug. Good plug.
It's like a journey of like, I'm on, well, I guess this is going to be week 4, but like I'm on week 3 of transitioning into wedding photography, because there's this big, what is it? Dude, I always lose this word.
Is this where you need me to filibuster?
I'm so mad. Yeah. Cause I literally always forget this word. But it's this weird like place as a media person where like you work one industry and then you're like wanting to pursue another industry, even though you're very established in the other industry. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you don't particularly have like a big portfolio of the industry you're pursuing.
Diversification.
But you have like a set rate in this other industry, and you're like, I know what I'm worth, I know what I can do, I know what I'm capable of. But then like you're new in another industry. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's how like if you were somebody that shot corporate and you're trying to go shoot sports, like, yes, the things that you learned in corporate can definitely translate well into shooting sports and vice versa. But like, if you don't have the portfolio, it's something you still have to build. So it's this like weird position where you kind of have to build that. So anyway, I'm kind of like documenting the transition of my career into more of a couples and like wedding space, I would say, from the CrossFit realm. Not that I'm not going to be shooting CrossFit anymore, but it's just something that I found that I get a lot of enjoyment out of.
I think like diversification is so important, regardless.
Yeah, I feel like we've heard for so long, like, you need a niche. I just think it's bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the sentiment, in the idea of like niche. I always say niche, probably because I'm from Western Pennsylvania. We like to do that kind of stuff. I don't know why. But like whenever you like niche down, you can get some serious investment like through that, right? So like you can, if you dive hardcore into weddings for the next 7 to 10 years, that's all you do, you become an expert, you become someone that is a trusted advisor, and your rate is going to reflect that. So like for someone that's very passionate about something, niching down, absolutely.
I mean, I don't disagree. But like sometimes something happens that just happens to be more fortunate than another thing happening. Like if you have somebody who has worked really, really hard to get to the position they're at, and somebody else who's worked hard to get to the position that they're at, but they've worked less time and their work is of the same value or level, and that person gets into a situation, you could call that lucky.
I think it's good for people to hear it out though, and hear both different points and make their own decision with all that. I think the other thing that we were talking about before, like with diversification, I think there is two routes to that. There are people that think it's great to diversify, and there's people that don't. And it's like, hey, pick your lane, stay in it, and just ride that lane out. I think we're both the people that say try a bunch of different things, right? Is that kind of where you're landing?
I think you just have to be really intentional with your diversification. So you can't. It's not just like for instance, you shoot a lot of CrossFit, right? Let's just use me as an example. You shoot a lot of CrossFit, and then I create a couples page based solely on the fact that
Couples by Chris followed today. Couples by Chris.
Just based on the fact that one person asked me to shoot their engagement photos. But then I don't do anything with that. Because you could sit in the comfort of what's already paying bills. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And you could just be like, oh yeah, but I'm diversifying. I don't know if that I'd call that diversification particularly. But some people might.
I look at it to so with diversification, why I believe in it overall, as a theme and why it's important is because I think back to COVID and when all of my corporate events that I used to do and it was every year is okay, boom, they're coming into town. That entire business gets wiped, right? There are no corporate events.
Yeah.
And then also with that, there was also no corporate learning because no one's going to fly out to the studio. No one's going to fly me out to their office, right? The whole work environment changed. So then what I did on the, with help with a couple others was the idea of okay, now we're going to become a repurpose house. And what I mean by that is let's look at all the assets that we've created for individuals. Let's look at what they have existing and let's offer them the ability to re-edit, remix, do something slightly different, but utilize all the stuff that we've already filmed, with in our relationship. So the great thing, I'm very fortunate. I know a lot of people are very fortunate where it's once you get one client behind you, you can then have that lasting relationship for years and years and years. And what's cool on the video side is if you have that relationship years and years and years, you can then look at past shoots and okay, we pulled this information out from that shoot, but what else happened on that shoot? Was there some other stuff that we didn't utilize? Or is there something that we can utilize again, but just switch up the visuals, switch up the B-roll, switch up things like that, switch up the music, whatever it is, and just make it slightly different to where, okay, now we have a brand new asset for them and we're not losing their business. They're not going anywhere. We've just changed our strategy and how we're utilized, and you're still able to utilize us, to make sure that you accomplish your marketing goals. So that's kind of my twist on that. We're looking back at the strategy and the philosophy and things like that, as far as what you should diversify in. I disagree with you in the sense of I think you should try everything under the sun. And I don't think it necessarily needs to be a strategic, hey, I don't know. I see the earning potential in weddings and I'm going to go for weddings. And then I know that the weddings happen. So I'm going to go for elopements. I know elopements happen. So I'm going to go for engagement photos. I know engagement photos happen. So I'm going to go for whenever they get down on a knee. Right. I think you should go way off the board and just do whatever the hell. I don't know why bar and bat mitzvahs come to my mind, but filming a bar and bat mitzvah, even though I know that maybe that's not something I want to pursue, but I don't know that yet. I don't know that until I get in there. I do it. I experience it. I feel it okay, is this environment what I want to work in? Is this something that I could see myself doing? You don't know it until you actually do it. You can take advice from people. You can ask questions, but until you actually do it, you don't get the full scope of it. I would say even I'm probably still intermediate level, maybe a little bit above. I still would say even in the position that I'm in right now, I would happily do random stuff that I don't know.
Yeah, same, but what I meant is me and you and so who is in a similar position as us doing a one-off job. I don't know that I would call that diversification.
What would you call it?
doing a one-off job. Like
Okay,
you're like,
fair,
yeah, I'll
fair.
do that and try. Like, sure, you could say that. Like, I guess again, my belief of what diversification would be is again like pursuing that thing that you might like with intent, because
Yeah.
you already have something that is like a proven success for you. Diversification becomes like, okay, again, that's why I used myself as an example. It's like, yeah, I found success in a niche. Now let's diversify. That doesn't mean that I'm just like saying yes to a bunch of random one-off jobs. Yes, I agree with you that like, okay, let's say you say yes to I don't know, shooting an auto repair company's photos and video. And you're like, yeah, that was sick. I love that. I want to do that all the time. Now you're diversifying because you're trying to build a portfolio around that and having like a actual intention behind the pursuit rather than just like shooting everything willy-nilly because somebody asked you to. Does that make sense?
So diversification doesn't happen until you have the willingness to, or the intent to pursue it.
Yeah, because you could say like every brand new photographer is just constantly diversifying, but they're not even paying their bills with photography yet per se.
Okay, I agree with
you.
You
Know
on
what I mean?
that.
And maybe they are like, sure, like you said, like, dude, if somebody asks me to shoot this one-off thing and I have the time and the energy to do it, absolutely, I'll do it.
Yeah,
I don't care. Because I feel like it's also a learning experience for people in our position for sure, because we have so much experience from one thing and we can bring that experience into the new thing, but also learn something while we're at it. Because I think that's a big part of like being creators. Like it helps you learn things that maybe you wouldn't have pursued to learn. Mm-hmm. And then you can also bring that back into the niche that you might already have. Yeah. So I mean, I would say that I would agree with you to take kind of one-off jobs if again you have the time and you have the energy and it's worth whatever the pay might be. And yeah, I would say if it's something that interests you, you could be more inclined to like work out the payment, like whatever that might be. Like it's like, okay, let's say that they want to pay you $500 for this, and you're like, oh, normally that amount of time for me would be 1,000, but this is something I really want to pursue. Boom! Now we're talking about diversification, and you're like, okay, let me sacrifice this because I know I don't have the proven method or the evidence behind my ability to deliver what this client is looking for. You know what I mean? I guess that's where I'm trying to go with it. Because like I think, like you said, I mean, not to be redundant, but yeah, I mean, I think a new photographer, 100%, I agree. They should be saying yes to everything, because sometimes you really don't know like what you would love creating until you, like for me, like I didn't really ever think that I would like shooting weddings or like shooting couples. Like I've from the outside in, I've only ever heard bad stuff. Like I've only ever heard of wedding photographers that are like, oh, I'm just trying to get out of it. I just am so tired of shooting weddings. I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of that. Like I'm trying to get out of it. And I'm like, so for me, for the longest time, I was like, I think I told you, I was like, yeah, I would say yes to shoot somebody's wedding if they were like, yeah, here's 10K. Sure, I'll shoot your wedding for $10,000.
Yeah.
But now that I've gotten into it, I'm like, wow, I find a lot more enjoyment and like fulfillment in this type of shooting than I would have ever expected. So yeah, I mean, like you said, everyone go shoot anything that you want if you have the time, right? And you have the energy, but
yeah. So I think then the working definition should be like multiple times. So like 2 to 3 times. And then that should be the launching point into diversifying yourself.
Whereas, yeah, and like the intent behind the diversification.
Yeah, whereas like the beginning part is you're just trying new things. So I think trying new things is a better way to describe where I was coming from.
For sure.
To relate that. Yeah. And then, so the tipping point then is that 2 to 3 times. How are you evaluating like in your, so we kind of heard like my spiel as to what I look for as far as like, you know, the next step is like, okay, I will pursue this because of, you know, I'm passionate about it. I like it. I like the people that are involved with it.
Yeah.
I myself, I don't get bored with it. It's different. Like what are some things for you that kind of pushes you in that direction?
Into diversification or
So
into the niche that I'm.
So you're trying new things.
Yeah.
And then that next step to, okay, I tried X, Y, and Z. And the reason why I am now going to pursue it and actually diversify into whatever this is because of
a passion or a love for it. I mean, like if it's something that you truly enjoy doing. I mean, I think we've all heard the do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. You know what I mean? I think that's like kind of that intent. And that can also, again, be kind of like a driving factor in the success that you might have, as far as like what it is you're pursuing. Because there are things that I've done in other sides of media that I've done that I haven't, or there's things that I haven't done in other aspects of media that I am doing now in this couples pursuit, strictly because of the enjoyment that I have in it. It's not like I'm doing it because I feel like I have to, I feel like it's necessary, which I mean, I am. Like I'm doing, because, you know, there's always the work that you don't particularly want to do for your business. I feel like every business has that. It's like, it's the work that you're like, oh, I got to do this. You're like, oh, I got to do this. You know what I mean? And
every role, every position, it doesn't necessarily matter. Like you're always going to do stuff that you don't want to do.
100%. But I believe that the passion that I have for like the wedding and couple side of things, I'm way more actively doing those things and doing them far sooner than I've done them in other parts of my business because of said passion behind the pursuit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would say that's kind of like where I go. It's like, yeah, okay. So I tried new things, like you said, tried new things, did a couple shoots, realized, oh yeah, I like this. Like I enjoy this. I enjoy working with couples and like kind of helping tell the story of their love or whatever, you know, like whatever they are looking for. I mean, I have my own unique style that I like to put on, you know, the photos and like a way that I pose. And that's another unique thing for me as somebody who comes from a very, everything is candid. There's not a lot of like opportunities for posing,
right.
In the sports space. I mean, obviously there are when you're like doing the headshots and like, it's like athlete check-in and stuff like that. But a lot more of what we shoot is like what's happening in the moment. So that's what I pride myself on. And fortunately for me, that's what a lot of couples want, especially when it comes to covering their wedding. They're like, I want it to be a story. And it's like, boom, I'm awesome at that. Like I'm great at telling that story. But the unique thing for me is the posing aspect, right? Like not only do I have kind of like a different idea of like how I want to go through a posing session, like as far as like when I'm doing an engagement shoot or we're doing just the bride and the groom during the wedding, but it's challenging for me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like sometimes it's because it's new, right? Like it's still pretty new. Like I wouldn't say I'm like a professional poser or anything.
Well,
but
I don't know.
really
You're a pretty big poser. You're a pretty big poser, but do kids still say that? Kids don't still say that.
No, I don't think. I think that was our time, and then it died while we were in high school. Still.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah, we're old now, dude.
No, but what I gather from there is like the passion aspect, and then also the idea that it's still a challenge. It's still something different. So it's still like forcing you to continue to learn, to continue to get better. And I think that's why a lot of people like us even get into this crazy world of like creating content or taking photos, videos, media, etc., all that fun stuff. I don't know if there's like a universal term for that. There should be. Content creator. I hate that, but like I guess that's true.
Yeah, I don't like saying content creator either.
I never say that.
I feel like we could totally get on a tangent of that. Like I just hate saying, but like I mean, it's kind of what we do.
I mean, it's
I'll usually say like media person, but that also just doesn't sound very good.
Yeah. Yeah, so. But we get into it because we're addicted to it's the same reason why I'll speak for myself that I'm personally addicted to CrossFit is like the idea that you'll never be the best. You'll always need to get better. You can always look at yourself last year and like, how did I get better?
Well, there's always
this year?
work to be done, right?
Yeah,
Like you can get really good at one part of CrossFit and then you realize, damn, but like this part I really struggle with.
Yeah.
And it's like just constant, like I'm trying to even out the playing field. And then even if you're like, let's say you get to that position in CrossFit where you're like, boom, I feel like everything is on the same playing field, but you just kind of want to elevate it all. You just want to keep elevating it all. And that's exactly what it feels like to be a content creator again, even though we hate that.
At what point, and I'll kind of answer my own question first to give you some time to think, because I'm such a considerate host and I always like to look out for my co-host / guest, Chris Null Photography, couples by Chris. Anything else?
You're sprouting stuff.
What's the real estate one?
Huh?
What's the Null? Is it Null?
Just like Chris Null Media.
Chris Null Media? Hell yeah. Good. Dude, you're going to get so many like followers.
So many nothing.
So many followers. No, the jumping point, right? Like when you've gone from, okay, I'm going to try new things. Okay, I'm going to diversify into this. At some point, you still are allowed to hit the eject button and to get out of that industry or to transition out of that. For me personally, when I look at all the different things that you can do as far as an industry wide or like a product wide, I think it all goes back to the idea of when I get home, am I excited to edit? Am I excited to look at what I just shot? Do I really like the people on the other end? Do I like the environment? And like, if I get to a certain point where it's later on down that I am losing enjoyment for everything that I'm creating or excitement, then it's time to hit the eject button, look for something else. But at the same time, not like hard stop everything. I know we talked to Eric about the idea of like how he just like hard stopped weddings. So that is one strategy. Which is
impressive, by the way.
Which is extremely impressive.
Very impressive.
That's definitely
especially if you know how like weddings are charged.
Yeah,
like,
that's definitely betting on yourself. I do more of like a slow pullback in the sense of like, I might go from, because I used to do weddings. So, I don't remember what I was at my height. I was it wasn't anything like serious, right? I mean, there's people that do it a lot more than I did back in the day. But let's say I was like 5 weddings a year. And then I was like, all right, let's do 3. All right, let's kind of do 1 or 2. And then now I'll still do weddings. I don't advertise that I do weddings. I don't necessarily want people to know that I do weddings. But if it's a close friend or a family member or whatever, of course I'll step up and like, do that for them, because it fulfills that other end that I was talking about, where it's like the people that I'm working with are really appreciating this. Absolutely. So I think that's what I always look for. And then the other thing you have to consider, like no one wants to talk about it. It's usually like an uncomfortable thing, but like how much money are you making? Like,
and I feel like as a full-time creators,
content
I feel like
creator,
that's probably
Chris, content
I feel
creator.
like that's whatever, full-time whatever we are. I feel like as a full-time whatever we are, you have to, that's kind of the most important point, is like, can this be something like where is the point of sustainability, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like if you're transitioning, like for me, like again, I don't think I'm gonna stop shooting CrossFit. I don't have any plan to. Maybe, dude. Maybe I get so busy with weddings and I'm just loving it so much that like there's just a jumping point. But that's not usually how. That's not usually what happens. You know what I mean? Like usually that transition is a little more gradual. It's like you think about the people who start their own business and they're still working their 9 to 5. I mean, that's kind of like how this all happened for me and how it all happened for you. You know what I mean?
And there's still people that do what we do and show up at events that have another job.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. And honestly, mad respect for those people. I mean, we know a handful of them.
Because imagine working a traditional 8 to 5, and then after that is like when you actually start.
Yeah, you fly to a CrossFit comp across the country, and then you work for 40 hours over the course of 2 days, and you're like, oh,
Yep, and you got
now I'm back to work on Monday.
And if you're working with athletes or a brand or whatever, you're getting them contacting you and all that.
100%.
Yeah, so like on the financial aspect, I look at it where I like to look at my entire business portfolio and like where everything's coming from, and then what slice of the pie is each segment. And if there's ever one that's like trailing aggressively, I then look at it where it's like, do I want to double down in that one area, or do I want to abandon it and double down on the areas where I see, the greater slice?
Yeah.
And the main thing that I ask myself strictly on the financial aspect is like, what is the margin? So if like my margin on wedding videography is like, I don't know, 40%. It's been forever since I've been in there. 40% there, but like my corporate learning, I'm 75 to 90%. It's like, how much do I love doing doing weddings?
Yeah.
Do I love it enough to know that I am sacrificing whatever that was, like 40% margin to go and do a wedding? Like, do I really like it that much? And if I'm already at the point where I'm already thinking about getting rid of it and I don't like it that much, and then I look at the numbers behind it, then it's like a hard, like, let's get rid of it.
For sure.
Slowly backing away. But I also think the idea of like, okay, perhaps if it's something that I don't necessarily enjoy, et cetera, all of those things, but the margin is great. It's like, okay, how can I come at this from a different angle? So how can I, if I'm doing all of the filming, if I'm doing all of the editing, if I'm doing all the client communication, is there something someone I can like replace myself with, or put someone, give someone a referral, or like take a step back to where I can still earn in this segment, but I'm not in there every single day editing wedding videos after I just filmed them all weekend. If that's something that burns me out, it's like, okay, how do I replace myself? And if your margin's great enough, then you can replace yourself and then take that time that you were spending on that lower margin activity and then put that into your higher margin activity and just dive into that time. So there's kind of two thoughts into that. It's like you either completely step away or you replace yourself, whether it's refer one of your friends or hire some additional people to help out with it. That's kind of like what I look at. And I've done it in a few different realms. And not every time is it 100% successful. Sometimes you got to go through a few different people to figure out, okay, this is a good fit. So there is some time there, but once you have that system set in place, then you can kind of like set it and rock.
I see what you're saying. Like if you were a wedding photographer and you're like, oh no, I don't shoot weddings anymore, but here's my buddy Chris. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
And like you can, I mean, it depends, right? Like I'm not really big on the whole like referral fee thing. Like I'd much rather just,
oh God, no.
Here you go.
That's
Knowing,
so
well, it's knowing that like there's going to be
that's
other
gatekeeping, and that's a whole nother. That's like kind of that makes me feel like the people that gatekeep in our space, and that's a whole nother topic we could talk about for another day. But no, I'm sorry,
but you're just trying to get on. You're just trying to get on another episode. That's what that was.
No, dude. But like, I've had that happen one time. One time, another photographer said, "Hey, I have somebody that wants to shoot a real estate listing. I don't do real estate. If I recommend you, can you throw me $50?" I flipped him the bird. I said no. I said, we were friends before you sent me that text. If friends, apparently, I don't know. Meanwhile, I'm like, it just goes back to the like support your homies doing stuff on Instagram, bro. It's that level of petty. I would never. See, here's the difference. I have somebody ask me, hey, can we get a video guy to come shoot video? And you're doing photo for the event? Who am I calling? JT, hey, if I can get the budget for this, and I always say it that way, hey, JT, how much would you need for this to be worth your time? Because I want to bring you in on this. I'm not like, hey, JT, for $100 of the pay that you're going to get from this event, I'd like to help you make $500. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from that, and that makes sense. I don't know if I have that hard of a stance against it or for
Dude,
it.
it's
I'm just
disgusting.
kind of like, well, I think like, you know, with the referral fee and things like that, I don't personally do it. I don't necessarily feel any certain way about it here or there. I would say though, something that everyone needs to keep in mind, this is kind of like my core philosophy as to why I don't do it, is because
you're a good person.
Thank you. I don't know about that, but I appreciate that. At some point down the road, there is going to be a project or there's going to be whatever, right? And the individual that you decided to take a referral fee from or whatever it is, they are going to be looking to hire. And they're going to remember that example of when you did take the referral fee way back when or whatever it is. And they're going to factor that in. So perhaps they take a referral fee from you, right? And what goes around comes back around, or they might just completely gloss over you. I've always looked at it where it's like, everyone that I work with, I'm going to build a long-term relationship with. I'm not in it to like, all right, I'm going to work with you one time and then see ya. Like, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't help anybody out. That's not why we should be in this business. We have to be looking out for one another. It's the constant theme.
That's my point, though.
Yeah. Well, it's the constant themes that we always talk
feels
about.
Like doing the referral situation feels like the other end of that spectrum. And I don't want to be on that side of the spectrum. You know what I mean?
I do.
So I'm more like, hey, let's collaborate. Let's work together. Like if somebody asks me questions, I've never turned somebody away for asking me photography related questions or like gate kept ever. And I haven't experienced that. But again, that one referral fee time, I haven't really experienced that myself. I mean, there have been situations where gatekeeping is happening and I'm a part of the situation and I'm like, yeah, I don't like that. But like doing it to somebody else, like gatekeep, like, I don't know. I just don't. I think it's dumb. Like if somebody was like, oh my God, how did you get this shot? I'm telling them exactly how I got that shot. Here's the lens I used. These were the settings. This was the filter that was on it. Here's how I edited it. Like, if they ask me, I'll show them. You want my preset? Sure, I'll send it to you. You know what I mean? Like, I get selling presets when you're like a bigger name photographer and like you've, you know, yes, I understand that side of the business because there is business to that, but that's also not gatekeeping, right? You're making money off work that you've done. You know what I'm saying? Or it's like for like video guys, right? There's like LUTs or whatever.
Why'd you say it like that? You didn't say it like that whenever you said presets.
Oh, dude,
what's
LUTs,
that about? What is that about?
Whatever.
You want to talk about that real quick?
What does LUT even stand for, JT?
I have no idea.
Exactly. Nobody does.
No.
I'm sure somebody does, but
I think it's an interesting point because it's like the idea of like, there are people out there that are, I think it depends on your availability and your time. So I would say
what depends on that?
Your willingness to provide education for free.
No. Yes, but that's different. Education versus like somebody.
I feel like we're this today. We're just like, you're here.
Totally.
Like I'm just,
and that's fine. And you know what? We're still friends. If the world were like this, we'd be in a way better place.
I appreciate and I respect the idea of when you've reached a certain point in your career where you don't have the ability to either one, like your time is just so limited that like you can't be taking phone calls right and left. Like you have to offer up your services to like a paid audience, you know, in the education space on anything that we do. I think that there should be a balance with that. I don't think that not everyone and not everything needs to be behind a paywall. And I think that's what maybe people struggle with, maybe people don't struggle with. I don't know, because I haven't really looked into making any type of like educational stuff. I mean, this podcast is about as close as I get to anything that's like educational. And it's never going to be behind a paywall. It's always going to be free and available for everyone. So it's not really like that.
I understand what you're saying in the sense that like you can get to a place where like, yes, your time is so valuable and you just don't have the ability to, if somebody's asking you a question, to just answer them. And like, but 99% of people are not that. And a lot of the times people gatekeep for the sake of their own self-preservation.
Okay. Yeah.
Or the idea of their own self-preservation. Because
we're definitely going in two different directions.
Okay. No, I'm just saying, like, to me, that's what gatekeeping feels like, is it's like this false sense of self-preservation that like, oh, if I did this one thing and if I don't let anybody else do it, then it's going to be only me that knows how to do it. And therefore I'm going to make all the money from doing it. Like, okay, I'm not saying that, and that's not me saying like I need to know the secrets of the universe to making all the money in the world or like every media thing possible or like that I really care. But there are circumstances where, again, people get into a position where they then gatekeep. They get into a position of power, so to speak, quote, put it in quotes, power, where they begin to gatekeep. And to me, it just, again, it feels like this like false sense of self-preservation because they're afraid that like, oh, if this person starts doing this, it's going to be better than what I'm doing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
I get that.
That's kind of what I'm getting at.
I get that. I think my slant on that is like, there's just waste. Yes, you can attempt to do that, but like, let's be real. There's so much information out there. Like you can scour the
web for sure
and find out. So like if someone's going to be like, oh, I'm going to keep, this secret. It's like someone's going to reverse engineer by just simply going on YouTube or whatever it is. And they're going to figure out exactly how you did it and why you did it. And then like we've talked about a million times is like the idea of, what is it? When someone copies you is the greatest sense of something or another.
Yeah. It's like copying is like the most sincere form of flattery.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
We need another Coke Zero if we're going to keep rolling.
Yeah. Go ahead.
If we're going to keep rolling here, I'll just take you with me.
Chris is actually holding out for a Coke Zero sponsorship. So if anyone knows any Coke distributors that are looking to increase their business, especially in the couples space, Chris is your guy. Not sure if you know Couples by Chris. Couples by Chris. Follow on Instagram. The kid's going to make a killing at
RDM.
Documenting love. Yes.
Already am making a killing.
Were you nervous about like what possibly could have been on camera there while you were walking in your residence? Okay.
No, I don't have anything to hide.
I wish you would hide some things. You know what I mean? So let's talk about the CrossFit Games. Chris, what was your experience like at the CrossFit Games?
My experience at the CrossFit Games, it was pretty cool. It was my first CrossFit Games. The fact that it was the 20th anniversary was pretty dope. That my first ever CrossFit Games. That was the first ever CrossFit Games I've been to, and I've been a CrossFitter for like 9 years, 8 years.
Fact check.
8 years.
Yeah, 8 years. Yeah.
No, it was 8 years.
Good. Self-policing. It's good. Good.
And I had a good time. We were originally informed that we weren't going to be able to shoot on a certain day outside media. So I got there at a certain day and then found that out. And so I went to Yosemite. So
great national
Wednesday of the CrossFit Games was happening and I was in Yosemite taking landscape shots and pictures of birds and I was having a grand old time. And then the CrossFit Games officially for me started on that Friday. But I had a blast covering it. I definitely did a different editing style than I normally would. It kind of
what led into that decision?
What led into that decision?
Are you going to restate all my questions?
No, I'm just thinking about it.
Okay. Do you mean a filibuster? This is where I can shine.
No. You're good.
Chris, it's really, I can do it, man. I can literally.
It's fine to have silence sometimes. It's actually fine.
No, because this is an audio also podcast. And if there is silence,
Good.
we're going to be like, was there a glitch?
No, there's not. That's not how that works. You're just feeding into ADHD culture.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I might be.
I can answer the question if you'd stop interrupting.
See, there was silence there. People definitely left when that happened.
No, Sam just skips the silence.
No, he doesn't.
Anyway,
leave it as
so that's what I'm saying. Anyway, so it's more normal if you do anyway. So what led into the decision between changing up how I edited the CrossFit games versus how I edit other competitions and like my normal editing style? Honestly, I was just feeling the vibe. I was trying to go for something a little more like retro style. So if you look at my pictures and how I shot them, they were
the strongest photographer.
Yeah, I tried to be a little more intentional, making them feel a little more old school. So there's a little grain. I used a filter that kind of made the brights kind of bloom a little more. So almost like more like film-ish looking without being too like trying to be too filmy. I just found like a style that I liked going into the weekend, and then kind of stuck with that. The preset I based it off of is one that I created when I was traveling. And it was kind of like, I shot these photos while I was in San Diego a couple years ago. And I really liked how they turned out. And I liked the
peer
feel
photo,
that I got.
The peer photo.
Yeah. I like the way that I got, or like the feeling that I got using that style of editing. So I just kind of did the same thing with the CrossFit Games photos, and I really liked it.
So you had it going in. You knew, hey, I'm making the conscious decision of using this preset.
Yeah. And honestly, I think it was to challenge myself.
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of trust my ability to create regardless of like a previous style, like feeling so reliant on a way that I've created in the past that I like and I know people like. So yeah, I think it was like a hey, like, can you trust yourself kind of thing? And I wanted to see if I could, and I did, and I enjoyed it, and I liked what I created. So I was happy with it.
It's funny because we've had the exact, much like this entire conversation, the exact opposite experience. So
enlighten us.
Yes, let's do it. Yeah. So my CrossFit Games experience, was one that I realized that I need to be better. So That was my general takeaway, is that I got humbled. I got my ass kicked a little bit. It's mostly on my own self-evaluation, right? It's not like me sending anything out to anyone or asking for feedback or anything like that. It's more of, hey, I am literally like the difference between me last year, like the previous year, and this year, like,
yeah,
there's no difference in like style or like any upgrade. Right. So I had a full crisis where I was like looking through my footage and I'm like, man, I'm just like kind of like filming to film. Like there's no intentional thought behind what I'm doing, or there's no chances, there's no challenges, there's no things that are different, that are like stylistically different. And I'm like looking around and I'm seeing everyone else like challenge themselves and trying new things and getting a little bit crazy just to be different. Because at the end of the day, when you have whatever many media people there are, and we're all filming or taking photos of the same event, like, at a certain point, everyone's stuff kind of looks the same. And then the ones that really stand out are the ones that do take those chances. I'm not just there documenting something or whatever it is. So when I'm looking through my footage, I'm like, man, I feel like I got the same shot and it's just so predictable. Like everything's so predictable. And maybe it's because I've been doing it for a while, and like, you can only film a toes to bar in a certain amount of ways, and you kind of done them all at a certain point. But that morning I had that crisis, and I also realized like, hey, like I need to step up my game from like a visual standpoint, because there are so many things that I've just been doing for a very long time because I've always been focusing on output and not necessarily taking the time to like focus inward, do a little bit less of the output and focus more on like, higher quality or more planning or, more structure around what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And I think it's because I've always come from like the event space where it's just like you're like in full go and full mode all the single time, like every single time. And you're just like, tunnel vision and everything's happening all at once. And you have to capture everything because you never know what you're going to use, as opposed to like, I'm going into this event, and this is what I did. So as an example of this, at least from a visual standpoint, is like, the rings workout, like I didn't try to film everybody. I didn't try to film every single athlete. I didn't try to get the leader. I was just like, I just want the coolest and the best shots that I have. Right. So I happened to get, and this is kind of what turned around my entire weekend and like kind of reframed everything from like, if you want to call it like a relaunch or whatever perspective, is like, I got that one shot of Ariel Lowen when she's like coming out of the bottom and like extending out. And then slowly like looks to the crowd with a big smile. Like that shot alone, like that kind of like triggered, okay, I'm back. And like that kind of like reshaped my entire weekend. There were some little moments that happened like before, like they had like that row ski, just triathlon thing where I was like, you know what, I'm just going to try new stuff. But it really reinforced the theme of like, I need to take more chances. I need to do stuff that's different. And I need to also increase the quality of what I'm doing, and realizing that, I need to humble myself and realize the fact that like, yeah, I've been doing this for a very long time, but like, that doesn't mean that I need to stay consistently the same. Like I need to keep improving because, good old Lenny sitting in Chicago right now, listening to this. I don't think that's actually a person.
Lenny?
I don't know. I think
you met a Lenny?
No.
Only Lenny I can think of is Lenny Kravitz.
Great artist. Man, you want to talk about being stylistically different. That is that guy. But there are constantly people coming up that are trying new things that are getting better, that are going to surpass you. And I'm well aware that like, I haven't been putting in the work. It's like kind of like a therapy session. I haven't been putting in the work, at least on the CrossFit sports fitness side, that I need to in order to become what I want to become. I've simply been checking a box and completing things and like kind of like going through the motions, as opposed to like trying to create bigger and better things. Does that make sense? Any of that make sense?
Yeah. So what's your plan?
Well,
what would you tell somebody new to the space feeling how you're feeling now?
Well, I'm in a fortunate situation where I can outsource some of my work to take load off of my plate, to free up time to then dive into all the education and learning space so that I can become better and I can implement new tools and all that to then level up. I realize that not everyone has that. So I think instead of, if you aren't fortunate enough to do it that way, you kind of have to swallow the bullet and be like, okay, like I'm going to take 3 steps back, or I'm take 1 step back in order to take 3 steps forward. Like these next, like for me, it's like the whole month of September. I have big projects coming up in October. Like the whole month of September is just me learning. Like that's it. I've been messing around with it, like with my daily schedule right now, and like learning as much as I can. But like September is very intentional of like our client work will probably be finished by the end of this month. There might be a few stragglers, and then September is wide open. So that needs to be the month. And if stuff does come through, that's where, like we talked about, send stuff off to other people, let them shine, and realize that 1 step back is going to be 3 steps forward. And with what is going to be my training ground, is going to be the Desert City Classic. So this year, 2026, we're back in Tempe. DCC. It used to be called Desert City Slam, by the way, or Desert Slam.
Great choice to change names.
Very good choice. Obviously, I'm head of media for that. but we're going to be creating I don't know if it's a documentary yet. I'm still kind of whatever, but it's going to be some type of long form content that is going to talk about the story of the 2026 Desert City Classic. It's going to be me and Colton that are going to be the camera operators. And then obviously Sam is going to put together everything on the back end. And we're having meetings, I'd say bi-weekly right now, diving into all of the things that we need to finish this project. So this project is going to challenge me in the sense of like, it's not a short form content type thing. It is a long form thing. There's a ton of moving parts. There's a ton of people. There's a ton of structure. There's a ton of like everything. So by me doing this bigger project, I'm hoping that one, it gets me out of my comfort zone so that I'm not going through the motions like I was just talking about. And then two, you know, Colton's extremely talented. He is better than me at videography work. And I'm not ashamed to say that. Like, he's super talented and his technical knowledge is going to help me. So like, always work with your friends, always work with someone that's better than you. That's kind of like my philosophy there. So use the entire month of September, retool everything. October, let's hit the ground running. Let's go Desert City. Let's make that long form piece of content. And let's just do something different than what we normally do. I want other people to shine. So like the other videographers on our team, like I want them to do what I've done the past couple of years and like all that. Like I want them to do that. I think doing what I did the past couple of years has allowed me greater understanding as to what they face. And I think also like traveling around the different events and kind of like taking notes about how those events are run and like all those things. Like I still have a ton to learn, and like I'm going to be again and leveling up with being a event media director. Like I'm still going to ask people for help and advice over the next year or so. And like I want next year's to be even better. And I'm already thinking about next year's. But to answer your question, this year, it's doing that. It's utilizing new tools, different tools, making myself uncomfortable, and realizing that like I am going to 100% take a step back in order to take 3 steps forward. That's it.
Word.
So
cheers to that.
Yeah. Are you excited about Desert City? You sure?
Of course I am. Was that even a question?
It was a question. Yep. I asked it.
Dumb question.
And you didn't restate it. You didn't restate it.
Am I excited about Desert City this year? Yes, I'm excited about Desert City this year, bro. What are you even talking about? Of course I am. I love shooting Desert City. I love being a part of Desert City.
We love having
It's always the best event of the year.
Wow. No paid endorsement, but we're just going to have to
quit I'm paid, but I will still endorse it. Like
maybe it is a paid endorsement.
I mean, the endorsement isn't paid. I am paid and I'm endorsing it.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. I mean, I love Desert City. I think it's like one of the most fun weekends of the weekend. Or, oh boy, one of the most fun weekends of the year.
This is how we know we need to sign off. No, let's leave.
JC knows what's happening right now.
Let's leave the greater details of Desert City to a podcast in the future here, so that we have the platform to do it.
Hey, what kind of editing style will I show up with this year?
I don't know.
It's gonna slap, whatever it is. Who cares?
I'm very excited to see it. Yes, but all right, man. Well, good. I'm glad we were able to catch up. Good times. Hopefully people gathered some helpful information there. I know that.
Oh boy.
I know that at some point. One. Yeah, I was going to say. We've been averaging over an hour pretty much for every single one now. But that's how I know that you haven't been watching or listening.
No, I mean this one's the long one for us.
Oh, for us, yeah. Well, you know,
normally we try to keep it a little.
Well, I know we used to do like the minis and stuff like that, but I'm like, let's just rip
it. Just rip the Band-Aid and let it flow.
Rip the Band-Aid off. Look, I mean, I had a full on therapy session with you. We had a bunch of different debates about things and semantics about different things, but also hopefully people gathered some helpful like technical knowledge as far as like beneficial philosophy or stuff like that, or different perspectives, right? And that's what I love about this is I learn about people's perspectives, and I hope that they're different than mine, because again, going back to the other theme, I want to get better. I want to learn more, and different perspectives are the way to do it. So,
hey, if you made it this far in the video, DM us perspective.
Which account do they want you to DM you to?
Any of the three. I don't care.
Okay.
JT's Capture the Reps or mine. I don't care.
Well, you
send
have
it to Capture the Reps because then we'll both know.
Yeah, and so will Kelly. Yeah, so Kelly will know too. Shout out to Kelly. Hope you're doing well.
Kelly's
it was your birthday.
I got to meet her in person at the games.
It was her birthday recently too.
I know. I got to meet her in person at the games. That was cool.
Kelly's our producer. For those that don't know,
I never met her in person before until the games.
Yeah, she's lovely.
True.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Kelly. We'll see you.
Bye, Kelly.
Well, that's a wrap on this episode. Thanks for tuning in to the Capture the Reps podcast. If you're a fitness creative and you found this episode helpful, please share this with a fellow creative and keep creating, keep learning, and keep capturing those reps. We'll see you next time.